Isn't it awkward? Isn't it awkward?
The awkward silence. It's
All
okay.
right.
We're good.
Let me just get everything going right now. We are a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. Let me see what's happening over here. Let me just kind of get situated. Okay, enter studio. Good morning, everyone. Happy, what day is it? Wednesday, January 12th on this wonderful new year. Let's see what's going on. Let me just mute that guy right there. And I want to, I think we're live. We're doing this. So I want to welcome everyone to this Breakfast Runs with me, your host, JP Warren. And with us today, we have the worker bee, as he would like to be identified, Casey Zachry over at Summit Petroleum, right?
Summit Petroleum.
Summit
no energy,
Petroleum.
no resource, just petroleum.
That's the thing. So where
2 M's, 1 T.
2 M. I got it right.
Yeah,
okay, I got it right. I'm making sure I got it right. So
last name, no A, no E. All right, we're good. You're already on top of it.
So initially when I put this thing together, I spelled his name like I'm talking about like on the flyer. Then I posted it. Like there's this whole process to like get this thing kind of going. And so like I invited probably like 170 people to attend this, right? And and so I get to your name, I'm like, oh, there's no like adding E in your last name. So I completed this, wipe everything. But you know what? That's a lesson to me. You check, you measure twice and you cut once.
That's all right.
You measure. Okay, so let's see where everyone's tuning in from this morning. First off, thanks for joining us, buddy. It's been a minute since I've seen you, but we're gonna get into kind of our history in a little bit. Let's see who's tuning in. We got Bryce Ferguson. Good morning, Bryce. Hope you're doing all right and staying warm. I think you're in San Antonio, so good morning to you. LinkedIn user, not sure who this is. Hello from Midland. Yeah. Hello, Midland's a great town. Midland is a great town.
The beauty is under the ground.
The beauty is under the ground.
It is, and in the hearts of the people, JP.
So. It's obviously the people. Yeah. You know what I mean? I
don't know why else you would come out here.
Without the people, this wouldn't be a city.
That's right. Well, that's a good point.
Great point. I know. I got full of them. All right. We got Aaron Baxter. Good morning, gents. Good morning, Aaron. Thanks for tuning in today. And then James Van Alstyne. Good morning from Oklahoma City.
Good morning.
Love the background. Yeah, so we are sitting here at Chateau de Michael Rispy's pad here, and we got Justin Brignett, morning from Dallas. Love airport, fellas. Justin, how are you already in Dallas? We saw Justin last night at the AD Operators Forum, and then again at Buffalo Nickel after.
Making the rounds.
And the fact that he's in Dallas, well, so another guy that's staying here at Rispy's house, I come out this morning, and there's Chick-fil-A all over the counter, and Casey gets over here, we're kind of talking and all that stuff, and I was like, I guess this is from last night. Well, anyway, this guy comes out, and he's like, nope, I went to the rig this morning at 5:30, about to go run a couple miles right now. We got to train, so I'll see y'all later. I'm like, okay, way to make me feel non-productive.
He was already on top of it this morning.
He was already getting after it. Well, good morning, Justin. I'm glad you made it safe. And then, so we're in this room. There's a lot of dead animals around here, a lot of exotics, if you will. And back there's a buffalo, and I guess we'll start this off with, you know what the father buffalo said to his son buffalo before he went off to college?
The father buffalo said to the son buffalo before he went off to college.
Yes.
That's a good, lay it on me. Let's go.
Bye, son.
Bye.
There you go. You can use that with your family. All right, that's a very appropriate joke.
I'm kind of sad I didn't get that one, but that's a good one. That's a good dad joke.
You know what? It's Casey and JP in the morning. We got to shake off the cobwebs. All right, let's see what else we got. Bobby Patrick, good morning from Edmond. Good morning, Bobby. Hope you're having a good day today. And it's probably freezing up in Edmond because it's freezing here in Midland.
You got a good presence from Oklahoma already.
I know, Oklahoma. Have you ever been to Oklahoma?
I have.
So I went to Oklahoma for the first time in December when I was doing that crew club tour, right? I am in love with that city. Oklahoma, it is like an old school brick, it's just like it's like the Fort Worth of Oklahoma, if you will.
I would agree with that. Lots to do, great restaurants,
great all that stuff. And by the way, I'm not sure. I don't think you should be. I'm not sure if you're nervous about doing this, but there was a lot of people that registered to sign up for this, so you got a lot of eyes on you right now.
I wasn't nervous until now.
Well, that's what we got to do. Well, here's the deal. I'm tired, okay? Midland networking is a full-time job, Okay, so if I can throw you off a little bit so I look a little bit better, I'm going to do that. All right?
Let's do it.
That's Livestream 101 out there. All right, so I want to, I guess, if anyone has any questions on that stuff, obviously we're just going to kind of have a discussion. Breakfast Run's pretty much where I sit around with some operators, and we kind of have a conversation, whether it's about the oil field, what's going on in their world, what they're looking out for, trends, and also just kind of catching up with them, kind of get like a little morning show like talk action, a little convo. So
and haven't caught up with you in a while. So,
it's been a minute. It's been a minute. We got
may have to.
Daniel Cole. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Daniel. So Casey and I, it's been a minute. We first met at Toga or Ioga, one of these events, like in 2016.
A few years ago. If Toga's in San Antonio, so it had to have been Toga.
Okay.
I think we were there at Tapatio Springs.
And who's your partner?
That first year was Chris Menifee.
Yes.
And he was at Independence at the
Yes.
time.
Now he's over at Unit, isn't he? I saw him last night.
He's looking good.
He's looking good, man. And Unit's
guys on top of it.
So there was a lot of rig contractors here last night. I flew over with Scott Keller and Mark Noel with IDC, and then ran into obviously John Williams and Chris and Jacob Buster with
You just felt right at home.
Man. I mean, it was great, dude. Like it was amazing. So we went. So last night we had yesterday we had our first crew club event at the Petroleum Club in Midland. Great event. We had that before the AED Operators Forum. And you didn't attend because you were bowed up. You had daddy duty.
I wanted to come, but I'm going to the luncheon today.
Okay.
I kind of ghosted you yesterday, unfortunately.
You're acting like I'm not used to being ghosted.
I know.
I've been in sales for 11 years of my life. That's a normal feeling. You know what I mean? So we got a John Refro waiting for my car at the dealership at Greenway Plaza. Don't get excited. Routine maintenance. Oh.
Good luck, John.
Yeah, good luck, John. Car maintenance. And then then after that, we went over to the AAD Operators Forum, which was sold out. It was at the George Bush Convention, whatever, in Midland.
What'd you think of that place?
Actually, it was really
Midland,
nice.
It's new. I mean, it's.
What's funny? So, like, I've been to Midland this a handful of times, not many times, and that was the first time I kind of walked around, like, Wall Street area, Opal's Table, Pi Social, and all these places are. I was pretty impressed, man. I mean, there's a lot of good spots.
We're trying. I mean,
it seems like there's a lot of an influx of development in that area.
Yeah, and there's more to come.
There is.
So if you kind of like what you saw downtown area, I think that there's more to come. We're trying.
Midland's getting a makeover.
It needs it.
And then there was a guy actually. So there's a new place called Sip House, which is like this very dark place, like dark walls and like New York vibes. And then I met this guy at the crew club thing yesterday, and he's opening up like a nightclub here called Why Not?
Why not?
And he got his
that's the letter Y, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
Not the word Y.
I think it's the letter Y, but Midland's kind of getting it's getting updated. It's getting updated.
I don't know. We've got a long way to go, but we're excited.
So the Operators Forum I thought was an excellent event. I thought it was sold out. It was very well attended. Saw a lot of people that I know in Houston that came in. I saw a lot of people in Midland, Oklahoma. I just thought it was a great little.
Probably had a good panel. Some good discussion, good questions going on.
There was a lot of the major players out here. Were all speakers out there, and then we split off and had dinner at Opal's basement.
Yeah, the basement. Basement. Again, beauty under the ground again. It's a nice spot.
Legit place. And then, of course, we had to meet everyone over at Buffalo Nickel, which I'm not sure if that was a smart move or dumb move, but I'm going to err on the dumb side.
Well,
so
you survived, and here you are this morning.
Here we are this morning. So yeah, you and I met probably about 2016, 27, whatever that is, and we were kind of just met up and kind of played a couple rounds of golf. And I didn't know you from whoever, you didn't know me from whatever, and we just kind of created a friendship from there.
I would agree completely. Definitely a memorable moment, and I look forward to seeing you every year at Toga when we went.
It was always a good time. Yeah, when you got to go back. Yeah. Hint, hint.
I know.
Hint out
and
there.
The Midland folks out here, West Texas, they don't really know about Toga.
Really?
Most of the scene is predominantly a Houston scene.
I can see Houston, Dallas, a couple Dallas people in there.
And so the Midland folks, if they ever hear the word Toga and they get invited, they need to go.
Okay.
Permian Basin folks, because
that, and I think Ioga has a lot of Midland people though.
Maybe so. Never been to Ioga.
You haven't?
Nope,
okay, well that's a little hint right there.
From experience.
It's nudging me right there. So. Yeah, so we kind of you and I haven't really talked. And that's the best part about the industry and kind of friendships and all. Like you and I really didn't talk for about 2-3 years. Since the events and all that stuff. And then I was coming out here and I was looking up kind of on LinkedIn, like my contacts out here, and old Casey came up and I was like, yes. So I reached out, and next thing you know, connection.
Connection, man.
Connection.
And I'm glad
Synergies.
you did reach out. And here I am on a breakfast run with you.
Look at us. Look at us.
Exciting.
We are in the future right now. So what's been going on in your world, man? So I haven't talked to you in a while. You've been at Summit, and obviously you can speak to the company as much as you'd like or as much as you feel comfortable with, because some people, they can talk about the company, some people can't, and that's fine.
Well,
you don't have to talk about the company, but what have you been up to? So give us a little background about yourself for those of you that the small group of people that don't know who you are.
Oh, there is a large.
I disagree.
Myself and Summit tend to run under the radar a little bit. I was born and raised here in Midland, so if I say things that kind of am talking about Midland in a way that may be negative, it's kind of like you can talk about your own family, but no one else can talk about your family. So
that's good to know.
I can speak, if I say something that's negative, viewership, don't get mad at me. I'm from here.
Yeah, so you can say it.
I can kind of say certain things.
Well, we have someone chiming in right now I want to say hello to. This is my accountability buddy, Scott Keller. Good morning, boys, from Main Street Diner.
Main Street.
Main Street Diner. And you know Scott, right?
I know Scott. He's
great guy. So Scott bumped into him yesterday before the 7 a.m. flight. Hey, next thing you know, Houston invaded Midland. So, born in Midland, Scott.
Yeah,
welcome.
Scott, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in from Main Street. Born and raised in Midland, guys. Graduated from Midland High.
What was that like growing up in Midland?
It was a sleepy place. I mean, we still had, we were still the tall city, but all the buildings downtown were pretty much empty. Only thing going on downtown was like tumbleweeds and vacant buildings for most of when I, was a kid in high school. They used to call Midland kind of the flea at the end of the dog's tail in the oil and gas industry. It was kind of stripper well production. All your wells were making less than 5 barrels a day. And so the only ones that were still in the active were kind of small operators that were.
And downtown was empty?
For the most part. It was
empty. Okay.
So that was kind of I would say growing up in Midland, it's a different place now than it was then. So when I left, graduated and had the opportunity to go to Texas Tech.
Okay.
And I did not jump into petroleum engineering, even though my family, that's all they had done.
So are you second generation oil field, third?
I don't know what that means. I mean, I would say that yes, probably like
all the above.
I mean, my family, my parents were born and raised out here, and aunts and uncles out here. So I think that all of my family has been involved in the oil and gas industry for their careers.
So you went to Tech. You didn't want to get in the oil field. What did you want to do?
Well, it was my dad. What actually took me to Tech is I thought I was going to be a baseball player forever. And Dad was like, you should have a plan B, like maybe engineering. And he's like, probably not petroleum. Industry's pretty roller coaster, up and down. Maybe look at mechanical. So I was like, it's a good general engineering degree, and jumped into that and finished up. Got out of Tech. Allison, my wife, she did chemical engineering up there. And funny story, I was like, when I met Allison up there, I was like, I got a sugar mama. Like, she's going to be a chemical engineer.
Ooh,
we can get out of school, and then I can just kind of.
You can be the stay-at-home dad.
Whatever projects, go hunt and fish a little bit,
For the family.
Family, for sure.
Get food for the family, yes. Okay.
And, but we ended up both coming back to Midland. We both landed jobs with Chevron here in Midland. And we were both, Allison is from here as well, so it wasn't like
Did y'all meet in high school? Y'all high school sweethearts?
We were good friends in high school. Okay. I wanted to date her, but I think she was a little too hot for me.
Out of your league?
So I had to kind of prove myself a little bit in college to be worthy. But it wasn't like I had to fly her in at night out here to get her to Midland because she's from here.
Yes, importer. Okay.
Yeah, so we came back to Midland, went to work for Chevron. And then
what was your first role at Chevron?
I was actually facilities engineer background there.
Okay.
So I guess with a mechanical engineering degree, it was, if you were going to jump into production or completions or drilling, you kind of more needed a, petroleum engineering background. So I got my toe in the market as a facilities engineer at Chevron and worked there about 5 years.
Okay.
And
you like your time there?
I enjoyed Chevron. There's a great group of folks out here. I didn't move around with them. I mean, I was here.
It seems like a lot of people, when they go to like bigger operators like that, there's like especially in the beginning of your career, there's like 3-year stints. Like, okay, I'm in Midland 3 years, I'm here 3 years, I'm here 3 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's kind of that point in time where at Chevron, they kind of want you to become a subject matter expert, at least at that point in time.
Right.
Things could change, be different now, but I kind of wanted to see, a little bit other side of industry on the production side, completion side, maybe even drilling.
You don't want to find yourself locked in after, obviously I'm putting words in your mouth, but you don't want to find yourself locked in, kind of pigeonholed. Next thing you know, 5 years turns to 10 years, and that's all you're doing. So you wanted more exposure, more experience.
Yeah, I just think from my background here in Midland and what was growing up with my family, I kind of wanted to see all different sides of the industry.
Okay. So after 5 years, then what?
So then I went. I actually made a transition over to Concho.
Okay.
And was at Concho and kind of was an operations engineer there, did completions and production, and for basically a year. And then a good friend of mine who's now my boss at Summit Petroleum was like, "Hey, let's go to breakfast."
All right. And, let's go to Main Street Diner.
And I was like, well, good. We're going to go talk about our next hunting trip or just catch up. And he said that they needed some help at Summit. And, Summit, I'll give you a little background on Summit for those of you that don't know. But anyways, in 2012, started with Summit and had various roles there, and still, I guess I've been here about 10 years now. So, but for those of you that don't know about Summit Petroleum, because we're a little bit under the radar, we're Midland based.
Y'all like being under the radar?
We do. Yeah, that's kind of we like that.
I dig it. Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, I think that 2007 is when we started. Our CEO was Dennis Johnson. He ran Henry Resources since the mid 80s.
Okay.
And then they had a big sale with kind of a combination with Concho and St. Mary at the time in 2006.
Yeah.
And through however that deal went down, he decided to start with some acreage and some producing well through kind of an equity trade in what he had. And that's how Summit got its start in 2007 with acreage and some vertical producing wells there in Upton County.
Okay. So starting small, trying to get something going. Okay.
So then from there, they just kind of, his son, Matt Johnson, who's our president, was also a Henry, worked with him at Henry and in an Anadarko background. So then they kind of joined forces as the Johnson family and then started putting their team together at Summit.
So Anadarko background, like I remember when Anadarko back in the day, like when I first got into like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, whatever, that was a solid group of people there. Very smart, very personable. I mean, it was a good group of people, and it had that energy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of their first hires was Ryan Hamilton, which a lot of folks may know Ryan. He's my boss at Summit, and he's an Anadarko guy.
Okay.
So they have a pretty strong Anadarko background as the founding fathers of Summit, and so from there the thing that is unique about Summit is not reaching out for investments. It's going to keep everything kind of in-house, so to speak, or self-funded.
Self-funded.
So that started in 2007 and just drilled out of cash flow and started a drilling program with the cash that we make from producing wells. And
so you actually operate your oil company like a business?
Before it was popular.
Before it was needed.
Before it was needed.
Before it was cool.
And that's kind of been our philosophy the whole time since 2007 to date. And
well, I would assume that type of philosophy, if it's possible for people to do, for companies to do and all that stuff, I would imagine that kind of shields you from a lot of the external forces that a lot of companies right now are faced with. A lot of challenges that people are faced with.
Absolutely, and I think that hence why we kind of do run under the radar, because we don't. I don't want to say we don't need help, because we need a lot of help from all of our frienders and just service providers.
Frienders,
and
I love it.
That we need help in that regard. But from a financial aspect, we try and pull up our own bootstraps, and we're going to let our cash flow drive our activity.
I dig that.
And so we back in 2007, kind of the vertical Wolfberry play, everyone was drilling vertical wells down to the Wolf Camp and commingling Wolf Camp and Sprayberry all into one wellbore and commercially commingling. That was a good run for several years. And then come about 2015, we kind of stayed on the sidelines and watched most of your majors in the area start doing the horizontal development. and wanted to kind of see where were well AFE costs coming in? Were they successful? How many days was it taking to drill? And
In
what was
2015,
production?
that's kind of when we first hit the bust.
Yeah, I would say a little wrinkle in the pricing at that point in time. And so what's interesting about 2015 is we kind of decided, well, while the pricing market is down a little bit from a service provider standpoint, we decided to enter the market and doing some horizontal development at that point in time to lock in some lower rig rates, lower frac pricing. And so that's kind of when we started our horizontal program in 2015, drilling our own.
So because y'all are pretty much, funded in-house, it's y'all's and all that stuff, you're able to kind of watch the market and kind of when there's an opportunity, when most people are, let's say, laying down rigs or reducing their frac spread and all that stuff, y'all are able to kind of pivot and kind of take advantage of stuff like lower cost or lower price or whatever it looks like that.
You said it greatly. That's exactly right. That's kind of how we're able to stay competitive and just, I think where it keeps us, we kind of take more of a long-term approach for the long game, I guess is what I would say. Which when you can only, your activity is driven by cash flow. When product price is not the best, hopefully you've got some dry powder, sitting in a war chest that you can continue to keep going. And that's what we typically do that. But the thing that's maybe a little bit prohibitive is we're not going to jump to 10, 12, 14, 15 rigs.
Right.
Because we're only driven by what our cash flow can provide. And so we're normally kind of built. Summit is, we got about 45 employees.
Okay.
And we've got a little less than 50,000 gross acres. We're all in Upton County and have a little bit in Midland County.
So you've been at Summit for how long now?
About 10 years.
About 10 years. I love hearing that. You don't hear a lot of people staying at a company. Look, I'm not a number, whatever. 4 years, whatever. You don't see that tenure at companies anymore. You don't see people sticking with. Obviously, people are approachable. People want different opportunities and all that stuff. But the fact that you're staying there for 10 years, to me, that explains something about the company that I probably don't even know. But what are your reasons for sticking with a company that long?
I mean, it's a great point because I think it is becoming more and more rare to. And I would say that we have real low turnover. It's the Johnsons have done a great job in the culture that they just provide, and they're very generous, and it's just a blessing. I mean, I enjoy working there. Otherwise, I wouldn't continue to stay there.
So it's good. It's a good culture. Good.
It really, and I think that when you're in that sub 50 employee range, you can kind of keep that family culture. Now, I think that's interesting is sometimes family culture can be dysfunctional, but they do a great job and kind of keep it as a very healthy family type environment. We were, as most small operators, small service provider companies do, you wear a bunch of different hats. You just have different job functions.
That's got to be fun though.
Which is fun. It keeps you nimble, keeps you on your toes. You get to see different things.
It doesn't get repetitive. It doesn't get boring.
It doesn't. So I'm 75% of my workload is drilling operations, and then 25% of the workload is facilities. Because of my facility background from Chevron. So, those are two totally different. Just the way you approach projects. Facilities are like long-term projects, planning. Rig is like here and now, never stops. And so that kind of keeps the plate full. But I enjoy it.
So during pretty much from March 2020 until now, that was a very tough time, not just for our industry, but a ton of industries out there, everyone
Absolutely.
out there. People, company, whatever it is. What did y'all do during that time? Did y'all change kind of your philosophy? Did y'all kind of start looking at it as an opportunity? It was just kind of, hey, look, we're kind of in our bubble because of how we operate. So we're going to just kind of keep on business as usual. What was that like for y'all?
I think that, what does Warren Buffett say? You buy straw hats in the winter, and I think that something like that.
I guess, I don't know.
We decided to remain active during kind of the downtime. And, I think we looked at the variables and just kind of took a calculated analysis that, hey, price of product is going to come back. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
And so we decided at that point, instead of shutting down all operations, we were actually going to kind of double down, not from a rig count aspect, but we were going to take advantage of kind of a suppressed frac market and we had built up an inventory of DUCs, And so we're like, let's go ahead and just knock all these ducks out of the way and keep a frac crew running for rigs and frac crew running for the year. And so then when the winds of change come from a product price standpoint,
nice.
you've got all these wells ready to bring online whenever.
So going into it and going with that philosophy, going with that, I guess, mode of business, all that stuff, are you seeing kind of the results that you were hoping for? I guess.
JP, yes.
Really?
Like, absolutely. Like, it was, looking back, it was a great decision,
Okay.
great move. But it definitely, let's say that a year like 2020 from an average product price standpoint would have continued for another 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Things probably wouldn't look as rosy and as, full of joy. But it was a good move. And we're very, very happy that we, kind of took that approach to get all of these ducks online, but continue to drill ahead with rigs so we can keep our inventory going for frac to continue marching along. But now that product prices,
was it 80? What was it this morning? 80? What was
it? Like a little over $81.
I think yesterday it got to 83. I saw.
Pretty close.
Yeah. I mean,
can't complain now. I mean, I think that it doesn't mean we're smart. It just, I would say that Dennis, the Johnsons, and the whole crew are very smart. There is a lot of just, I don't want to say luck, but I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, that's half a success.
Industry.
That's half a success. It's kind of luck. I mean, I was talking to Tyler Thomason with Encore Permian during the big freeze and all that stuff, just because 6 months ago they designed something in a certain way, and you can catch that Energy Crew podcast with Tyler Thompson anytime. So anyway, but like through planning all that stuff, yeah, it was kind of half luck, but they fared out pretty well during the freeze, So
absolutely,
whether it's luck, whether it's planning, whether it's foresight, it all kind of works in the mix, I feel like.
Well, for sure. And I think that all of the groundwork laid to make those decisions, obviously, I mean, that you're kind of creating your own destiny. And so you're just hoping that product price will support your decisions. And so far, we've been pleased with that. So what are optimistic.
What are some of the challenges? Because I'm sure, for each operator, there's various challenges, you know what I mean? But for a company like, Summit, I would assume y'all's challenges might be a little bit more different, might be a little more focused or a little bit sharper, just because, you aren't the big player. You don't have, 17 rigs out there or anything like that. So what kind of challenges does a company like Summit, who operates within cash flow with their own money and all that stuff, what kind of challenges are you kind of seeing right now that you're kind of getting to the office and you're like, oh, this is going to be difficult? Yeah,
that's a great question.
I
think that, JP's really good at getting right down to brass tacks on the questions. And, I think as a smaller operator, a little bit of the overreach from, if you want to say federal overreach or regulations where it comes down to ESG and Quado and just all of our
Quado.
A
lot of people know what that is. Why don't you tell them?
I don't know what Quado actually stands for. I don't know what the OOOOO stands for.
Keep talking.
But JP's going to Google it. But essentially, it's our emission regulations that we're bound by from each of our production facilities. How many tons per year of volatile organic compounds can we emit by permit?
Well, Quado is a font that consists of 6 lines intended for the visually impaired. So
I was
the more you know. Base. So good for you for kind of working with, not being for the inclusiveness. I love that about Summit.
I think you put in Quadu or something.
Don't do that. Okay, all right. I'm not sharing my screen for a reason, Casey. All right, stop. So anyway, so the regulations, the ESG shift. Okay, what else?
And obviously, we're trying to be an environmental steward on a part of our business on having integrity and making sure that we're meeting those requirements and regulations. But it's a little bit of a moving target. So that creates challenges on how much do we invest whenever a different administration comes into office, and then does that change?
Right.
So, that, and I don't think that's just a struggle that Summit Petroleum, I think that most operators
all over the board
kind of
that
struggle.
So in conversations with a lot of people, obviously, there's a couple things that get brought up. The first thing is you can't find people. I don't care if you're throwing money at the problem. I don't care if you're trying to recruit. I was like, you just can't find people. Whether it's people are tired of the industry, whether people can't find work, whether it's people being out of work because of the Omicron But whatever that looks like. So anyway, there's the people shortage, right?
Absolutely.
But there's also something, and to me, I'm gonna wait till you. But there's also the equipment shortage. The casing, the tube, and all so there's either the equipment shortage or the personnel shortage. Which to you is kind of more of a threat to our industry over the other, and why?
Another great question by JP on the breakfast run. I mean, this is
you get them here first. Hard-hitting questions.
I think they're a little bit hand in hand with personnel and equipment because obviously there's so many. I want to say there was a stat that one drilling rig throws off close to 400 to 500 employees.
Yes.
For everything that kind of touches goods and services that keep that drilling rig up and running.
Okay.
You can Google that or fact check it.
I'm just making sure the internet's good. Chill.
But I would say short term, like for this year, anything that's a steel product, hence tubulars, it's going to be very tight. I mean, there's going to be folks that are maybe wanting to ramp up activity,
but can't
because they don't have enough. Whatever their current casing design is, they may have to get very creative on what kind of casing strings they put in the ground to. So
you think it might get to the point where you just kind of have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to kind of drilling wells?
You may see some pretty oddball casing sizes or hole sizes that are actually they're drilling, hole sizes that the wells are being drilled just because of the casing size that
they could source.
Oh, they found this oddball casing size and they've got it to support this rig. I can see that being a challenge. I mean, I can see even things down to transformers for your electrical infrastructure. That, man, you're wanting to bring a bunch of wells on sub pump, and you got to have transformers. So there's a shortage in transformers. So it's just a lot of, I think, planning, and it kind of goes back to from operators. It's almost like the toilet paper aspect. We're all going to run out and gobble up as much equipment that we think we need to support our activity, but then that's what actually creates the shortage. Yeah. If everyone is just out running out, buying as much as they can get their hands on, and then even though they're
panic buying.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, but can you blame them? I mean, everyone is kind of.
If I can source stuff that I might potentially need for my company's success and all that stuff, and I mean, I understand that. I mean, it's not panic buying. It's kind of like you want to it's like the old Boy Scout thing. You want to get 3 times the firewood
absolutely
for the fire.
I mean, if all of our jobs are driven by meeting certain quotas and metrics, and so if executive leadership says that we're going to have so many rigs up by the end of the year and drill this many wells, or
you better find that equipment.
Online, you got to find a way to get it done.
And when do you think this shortage? Look, I don't know. I'm not a logistics guy or economic, whatever. When do you see the shortage kind of like relaxing a little bit right now?
Let's just back to the steel, the tubular side.
Totally.
Justin Ham with Sooner Pipe, and then Mike Hockman with P2P. I visit with those 2 guys quite a bit on the tubular side, and they seem to think that kind of the tubular side should soften maybe like second, third quarter. Where we're actually going to, maybe the fear of shortage might dissipate a little bit. So hopefully I would see that as long as Omicron, how did you do that? Do that again.
Well, so
do Omicron again.
Omicron.
That was good.
I mean, I can't say it without doing that. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, I
like that version.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, if I talk, like Omicron. So anyway, so you think, I heard the Omicron surge and all that stuff is going to back down like in 4 weeks. But, that's like an NPR thing.
I mean, hopefully they're right. I mean, that way we're not affected from, hopefully that the shortage on equipment or whatever it is will be by the summertime. Maybe it won't be as tight on certain things like casing, on wellheads, on transformers, on
everything, everything.
I mean, there's even sand shortages.
So talking about the labor shortage, I mean, what do you think we can do? Kind of, is it an industry challenge, or is it just kind of a fish in the pond challenge? I mean, what's that going to do to kind of swing that our way?
I mean, I think as an industry, we have a challenge to continue to recruit a newer, younger workforce that doesn't look at us as being, kind of an evil industry to come work in.
And that's kind of the whole point of, half the stuff that I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to bring a lot of the humanity kind of, because think about it. When I first got into sales, and if you and I first met, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, like he's in this big, ivory tower. I don't know much about him. So like part of this, these breakfast runs, part of this podcast, part of the
awesome.
and all that stuff, it all is to try to humanize our industry. Who is this worker bee, Casey Zachry? The long lost BFF of JP Warren. Who is this guy? So it's kind of like it's a way to kind of highlight we're people too. We're family men. We're husbands, fathers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to me, you're right. It is kind of, I'm not even saying like advertise and promote, but it's really just kind of having conversations with people and telling our stories.
I love it because if you just take, for example, what we hear from, like, let's just say you back up to what did we hear from the medical industry or medical experts about COVID, and it's just
which day? What are you talking about?
Can you really believe it? Can you even really? What are the real facts? And
right.
It's just really hard to
understand.
So then you go talk to your physicians that are friends, and then they'll actually shoot it to you straight and actually give you the data on what they're seeing, and it's like, well,
which is still confusing though, because it's like, well, I just saw this or I just read this, and you're telling me kind of something a little different.
So at least it's someone you trust and know and have a relationship, and so you're going to probably trust that feedback from that physician than what you hear on, Fox
CNN
News
or Fox News,
CNN.
BBC, whatever.
And so I just take that as analogous to our industry. What the rest of the general public hears about oil and gas industry, can we blame them that's how they form their belief and creed off of what they hear off of the media, or should they listen to the Energy Crew podcast and get the full scoop and what is it really like?
I would say Energy Crew podcast to get any scoop out there whatsoever. But that's the thing though. We have a lot of very smart people in the industry. We have a lot of very intelligent people, and we have a lot of engineers. And engineers love numbers. You know what I mean? That's why I say that my daughter's 98 months old. Just because it's a joke, but I'm testing the engineers out there. But it's one of those things too. It's like we are so good at providing data and facts and stuff we already know. That we know in our bubble. That we know in our oil and gas bubble. And if someone disagrees with us, we're so easy to attack. The whole drill baby drill mindset, the whole this, the whole that. But that doesn't. Facts and data don't win elections. Stories do. You know what I mean? Personal stories do. So I think our industry and it is shifting. You're seeing a lot of shifts right now with people being more creative on kind of getting our theme or narrative, our story out there, but it's still an uphill battle,
I think even telling, just see that light switch over there, JP, it's like, okay, we just educate. Where does that electricity come from out of that light switch? Well, probably a lot of folks say, well, it comes out of the wall.
Yeah.
The electrician put it there.
But I agree. So it's number one, it's educating, but and look, I'm not knocking renewables at all. Okay. I think I'm a Prius. You know what I mean? We need a little bit of everything. All right. We got to grow population.
Exactly.
We need a little bit of everything. So I don't like this us versus them camp that whatever narrative. But anyway, and that's the thing. I had a conversation. I had a breakfast with Max Gagliardi on Monday, and he made a great point. And I really dig this point. It's like when you're having conversations with people about whether it's wind, solar, whatever it is, they have done such a good job marketing green energy, but people don't understand the entire cycle, all the waste that's produced, all the mining, what the mines look like, what this looks like. Hey, after this battery's out, like where the disposal. So if we're having these conversations, it's not like, oh yeah, well you do have it this way. It's just engaging in conversations.
I like it.
You know what I mean? It's helping people kind of understand, like, yeah, just because it says green energy, but they've done a hell of a job marketing renewables as kind of being that, and that's unfortunate because there is such a necessity on oil and gas, and you're seeing what's happening right now in Germany. You're seeing what's happening right now in the EU with their costs and all that stuff. I love the live audience, hitting rigs at 5:30 a.m., getting Chick-fil-A, making me feel horrible, making me feel like a real POS. But that's the thing, though. They are faced with a huge crisis right now just because they're exiting away from fossil fuels, as I call it, organic earth energy. They're moving way back. It's really affecting the people.
Absolutely.
People are freezing, no hot water. Blackouts. It's bad. It's bad. So it's up to us, and right now is our time to
tell the story.
Tell our story.
Yeah.
Tell our narrative. Make our narrative.
And show that we're not evil.
Yeah.
That we're, I mean, I'd hate for our industry to be known as like the tobacco.
Tobacco, yeah.
And it's like, well, a lot of people use tobacco, and it's like it's a need, but I think we're providing a little bit more than what tobacco tobacco industry provides.
A lot.
No knock on tobacco industry, but I think we're a little bit different. We shouldn't be viewed the same.
Right. But that's up to us. But the thing is that we're so easy to discredit. And obviously, because it's true. I mean, because we know. I mean, we're living in the industry. We talk about it every day. You're having conversations about whatever. Right. But it's so easy to be like, oh no, that's not true. I'm all about engaging in productive conversations, healthy conversations. And you're right, because people might not know. I hit that light switch, and it comes out of the wall.
It comes out of the wall. Electrician put it there.
That's it. No, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I want to hear what you think, and I actually want to hear more about the renewable
and
side.
Not in a combative sense.
No,
just education standpoint.
Man, I'm really not a combative arguer.
You're not.
Unless obviously, unless I'm right at the house, right, Monica? Right. So, no, it's having healthy, productive, constructive conversations. Yeah.
Well, and I think as an industry, just even telling the story of what we do provide, and like for example, Summit. Even though we're a small player, we pride ourselves in what we provide, to the Midland community, to Texas, to the U.S. I mean, we even sit there and I have to go look back at. I want to say, I'm not going to say it because I want to fact check. Being the engineer, I want to make sure that
fact check yourself.
I want to make sure I know exactly. But where I was headed is like, Summit Petroleum, so many barrels that we produce in a year provides this much energy for these many people.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good speaking point if you had it memorized.
But I didn't. So
but I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying though.
But I don't want to fib that. So, but I would say that we take pride in that and the service that we provide, because that's what we're providing. We're providing a high quality life.
I dig it
for Texans, for Midlanders, for Americans. And,
is it Midlanders or Midlandites?
Oh, definitely Midlanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Midlandites. I mean, I don't know. I like Midlanders.
I'll be a Midlandite. How about that? I'll start that trend, Midlandite. Okay.
I'll
take a poll out there.
It's kind of like Austinite.
Yeah. So I grew up in Connecticut, so I call myself a Connecticutarian.
I like that.
Yeah, I just kind of go with it. Just kind of roll with it. So, what you got coming up this quarter? What do you have coming up this quarter that you're excited about? What's happening? What's happening in your world?
My world is exciting. I mean, I'm here with you. I've got 2 rigs running. We're drilling long laterals, multi-well pad stuff. It's exciting. I'll tell you what's real exciting that we're excited about is that Summit is putting in this big center called the Summit Center. Not as in center like you made bad decisions. A center.
Yeah,
because I don't know how my dialect came across. So center.
Well, as a Midlandite, I understood you.
Okay.
I'm sure them Houston City boys.
Well, we're excited because it'll be a 17-acre kind of complex in North Midland. We're going to build our new office there, and then we're going to have a couple other buildings for office space if anyone's interested. But then it'll be a 10-acre plaza in the middle. Molehills, koi ponds, amphitheater, playgrounds.
What?
And then gym space, retail, restaurants all around it.
And this is y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it.
Dude, this is a completely shift from downtown being empty from you growing up. Now you got a koi pond?
I know. I'm a koi
so
pond.
Bougie.
Zen garden.
I love
Zen garden.
You need some Zen. I dig it.
So next time maybe we could do this from the Zen garden.
Oh, absolutely. So when's that happening? When's that coming up?
So they're moving dirt around this month. So they're actually starting the process now. And
that's exciting.
And again, back to just us giving back to the community. I mean, Midland needs that kind of stuff. Just like you're kind of describing, downtown is looking a little fresh. It's looking nice. We're trying to do our part as well of just giving the community and folks that have to move out here and have to raise their families here, they want to stay.
Dude, you know
there's
what?
Something to go do and like a nice place.
Like it's like a little city center. Like in Houston, we have a city center, like a town square. Like you have all these shops, a little play green area. Kids can run around and play and all that stuff. But that's the thing. Like, whenever someone from Houston, Dallas, all that stuff gets like relocated to Midland, it's always like, oh, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? But once they get here,
Well,
if they have families.
Yeah, I was gonna.
If they're single,
that's exactly what
if
I
they're
was gonna
single
say.
dudes, they're not about it.
I mean, I think if you're in that phase of life where you're rearing children or your family, you get to be more than just a Saturday dad or mom. Like out here, you can still make practice in the evening. You can run home, go eat lunch with them at school.
Yeah.
And I think that if that's your phase of life that you're in, Midland is a good spot for that.
There's a lot of I don't want to. Midland has a bad rap. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you saying
but
that.
I really do. The people here are great. But look, if I was single here, I get it. I wouldn't want to be here. I want to go back to Houston and find Monica and make her break up with her boyfriend and marry her. But
it worked.
But with a family, no. So with Monica, no, she was single. So with Monica, and this is sales. All right, this is sales. I had to convince Monica, I think 3 times on 3 different dates, to date me. I had put the hard sell. I was talking about like, oh, don't worry about society. Like, when you're ready with your gut, like, follow your heart. Like, dude, it was like I went from every angle I could go, and it worked.
You did it.
I did it.
She's yours, cha-ching.
That's right. So it was fun. It was fun. But that's the thing, though. But like, if you have family out here, it's a great place to raise them. It's just like when people get. When I was in Saudi, the compounds there and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do. But as a family, I mean, it was like 1950s America. Neighbors were outside, kids were playing around, people were all. I mean, it was a good community.
Well, I think that, we all have to live out here. We all have to eat dirt when there's a north wind blowing from Lubbock to when Lubbock comes to see us.
It's coming.
It's coming. It happens. We all kind of have to just smile at each other with grit in our teeth and bear it together. And I mean, if we were all, Stanton calls them soreheads. You ever heard this thing?
Soreheads?
Yeah, Stanton, which is outside of Middle, has the old sorehead trade days. So like
I am completely lost. Go on.
If you're known as a sorehead, it's just kind of like you're just a negative Nancy. I'm
really gonna start using that.
So you don't want to be a sorehead
ever.
And so if you're a sorehead, you just probably don't need to live out here.
Well, that's anywhere. I mean, if you're a sorehead, first off, if you're a silly sorehead, you're probably going to find a problem with a silly sorry sorehead. You're probably going to find problems wherever you go.
Yeah,
you're going to find the worst rather than good. Like, I think the restaurants here, the people here, and all that's what makes this place Midland.
Well, challenge
and the Summit Center.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I think the challenge we have is that it's just we have we're trying on the retail restaurant side, and it's just having the right workforce.
So y'all are kind of diversifying into to be more of a Midland staple. I love that.
Well, it's not to get. I mean, they're ConocoPhillips, Diamondback, Fasken, every operator is doing their part to give back to the Midland Odessa area, and
talking to you.
So it's good. Like we've got some new park developments going on here in town. Just
so cool.
But Summit is. I guess I just want to say we're getting more than a little new digs in an office. We're trying to make it
the place to be,
a full community
hit place,
center. Yeah, complex.
You want those soreheads?
Soreheads.
You want those soreheads to turn that frown upside down.
We want them to.
I love that. I love that.
Come roll down the molehill and next time, because you and Monica, y'all play some music, don't you?
Yeah, she does. I don't. She does.
I mean, maybe we could set up a concert for her, there at the amphitheater. She could just get after it.
That'd be fun.
I mean,
we're in. I'll be the manager. And I'll spend all the money.
We need that talent coming out here.
All right, so Monica, you heard it. We got to come out here. So, man, you got anything? Does anyone have? Okay. Let's see. All right. So Taylor Lane said, "Good. Looking forward to seeing the Summit Center. I am too. So when's the expected completion on that?
January of 2024. So we're like 2 years out. I know.
What?
I know, but I have to keep the excitement high to
You know what? That's fine. I'm excited. I'm not gonna be a silly sorry sorehead. I'm excited.
But there's a lot going on over there, so it takes time. But we're moving in January 2024.
You know what's crazy? So it's gonna be there like tomorrow. And
it'll be
remember
fast.
We had that conversation?
Yeah, it'll be fast.
Let's see. John Renfro in Houston, we'd probably mistake the Summit Center for an old basketball arena. That's true.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Summit. I think that's where 94, 95 Clutch City back to back.
I'll have to share that with our Summit folks on that that name and actually where it came from.
Blue Strawberry Alcobar. Actually, that's where I lived. I lived in Alcobar, but I was in the mall. I didn't live in the compound. For some reason, I lived in the mall.
In the mall?
Yeah. It was like, it was interesting. I can't even the mall had like apartments in it, I guess because people drive in from, and they just stay there. I don't know. And here's you know that? Looks fantastic. Okay, so
there it is. Yeah, there's the website.
So thanks for linking. Thank you for
Mr. Delgado. Thank you for sharing
so
that.
There's the link right there. I'm gonna check that out. I could probably share this screen, but I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna look like an idiot, and I got enough going on right now. So I'm gonna check that out. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And Taylor Lang said it's good to see companies reinvest in the community. Couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And I'm loving how you do it. So you're gonna get like, what kind of restaurants are you gonna go in?
You know, we're trying to get some things that Midland doesn't have.
Don't do barbecue, man.
No. They're going to have an area called the Food Hall, and I think anyone out there familiar with the Food Hall in San Antonio?
So we have a food hall in Houston too. There's like Mediterranean. There's sushi.
So kind of little like closet.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have a food hall, so you got like half a dozen options there.
Okay.
And then we'll have a couple like nice restaurants.
Little wine bar.
Yeah. You know, so you've got the little patio, and there is the plaza right there, so your kids can go run around. You don't have to worry about them crossing the parking lot or
you can
traffic.
do some 80s parenting right
Just
there.
watch them, you know.
Yeah. And then, hey, leave your sister alone. And you go back
So, I
to
mean, you know, if anyone has connections, because we're trying to get new things that Midland doesn't have to come to the Summit Center. It's
okay. Well, that's going to be...
Like if Trader Joe's wanted to come to Midland, I'd be like, we got room for you. Let's do it. We don't have a Trader Joe's, obviously.
Well, yes. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
You know, I think that if...
Look, I think the more companies like Summit reinvest in the community, as Taylor said, you're going to start seeing new businesses that are not in Midland right now, businesses that are, you know, that maybe they made it to San Antonio and they didn't want to drive the rest of the way to get here. You're going to start seeing more and more of that. But what's cool about that? So, who's going to be on the side of kind of finding the places or like deciding what place? Are you involved at all in that?
I've put in my 2 cents on what I would like.
It's cool.
And so the employees, we've been kind of feeding the machine, so to speak, of all of the ideas of, hey, here's what Austin has, here's what Houston has, here's what Dallas-Fort Worth has.
Oh my God!
And here's what we want. You know, here's what we would like.
So,
which is great, and hopefully some elements of that will actually make it here. You know, that'll actually make it to Midland. And what I wanted to say is that historically, Midland has been a roller coaster, boom or bust town. But I think what you've seen through these past few downturns is that Midland's actually the Alamo. So if there is oil and gas, domestic production going on that's still supported, it is going to be here.
Yes.
And this is the Alamo. This is the last place it'll be happening. So I just kind of want to paint the picture that maybe that boom bust mentality of Midland, Odessa is probably, you know, a little bit
outdated. It's outdated.
It's vintage.
It's outdated. Just kind of like how Midland is downtown's a ghost town, empty buildings. It's not.
It's not anymore.
So, all right. So we're about to open this up to the little Q&A, but before we do, silly me, you know, kind of, you know, a little flustered this morning. I want to thank Royal Completion Tools out there for sponsoring this. Usually this is done at the beginning of the breakfast runs, but it's fine. We're changing it up. I'm on Midland time now. We do things a little bit
different.
I'm a Midlandite.
That's right.
We do things a little bit different now. And if you're upset that you didn't see the commercial, don't be a sorry, silly sorehead. So here's the commercial for Royal Completion Tools. I want to thank that team over there. Great group over there. Check them out. And here we go.
To all you completion engineers, company men, and consultants out there, are you sick and tired of losing sleep over frac plugs not getting to depth, not holding pressure, or not drilling out properly? Or maybe you aren't getting the best quality and service from the bigs. Well, stop burning the midnight oil and rest at ease while using Royal frac plugs, the most reliable and efficient frac plug on the market. Start your successful completions today by getting in touch with Royal Completion Tools. You can contact them via www.royalcompletiontools.com, sales@royalcts.com, or via LinkedIn. Contact them today to check out some of the best frac plugs out there.
And that's the commercial right there. All right, so look, we've been talking for an hour and you didn't realize that. So I'm sure we got some stuff to do. I got to pack. We got another crew club event coming up. But if anyone has any questions or anything like that for Casey, you can obviously find him on LinkedIn.
You're letting me off easy here. I like it.
Well, what do you want, man? We got stuff going on. We have a lot of stuff going on.
We do.
Right
you got
now.
a lot going on today.
You do too.
Well, we do.
You gotta contact Joe over at Trader Joe's. So I want to thank you for coming on, man.
JP,
It's been
thanks for
awesome
having
catching
me.
up with you. And obviously, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you more and more the more I come out here. And I want to thank everyone out there tuning in. What are you going to say?
I was gonna say, come back out to Midland. We, be that Midland.
I'll be here in 2 weeks. I'll be here.
coming.
So I'm on a
Keep
regular
coming.
schedule now.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like before I never came out here, but now like I'm on a regular schedule to come out here. And I'm loving it.
Well, you just keep coming, brother.
Brother,
we got
I'm
you
on it.
set up.
So I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in. We have some stuff going, and then what else is happening coming up? I'm not sure, but please go if you want to see previous breakfast runs. You can head over to my my YouTube channel. I changed it I think 2 days ago, so it's called Crew Tube. Isn't that creative? Yeah, like
I like all the crew puns.
I know.
I was kind of thinking because you're gonna Aggie grad, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wrecking crew, like that. You're gonna bring that up.
Didn't even think
get
about
your
that.
crew cut. When are you gonna get rid of this?
So I'm gonna be cutting my hair for a Sky High for
Oh,
kids.
nice.
Yeah. It's 8 inches. And I had Tim Rob actually. So Tim Roberts with TSS came over here yesterday. We did a podcast, and most people bring bourbon or something like that to the show, but he kind of helped me out a little bit. He brought me some hair insurance leave-in conditioner and a Go Green Tea Tree oil-infused treatment and shine brush. So I want to thank Tim Roberts from TSS because he's got some great hair too. So anyway, yes.
A great gift.
Isn't that a great gift? I'm like, well, I wonder if I could take this on the plane.
I need to get out of here so you can hurry and finish your hair before
Finish
the
my
lunch
hair.
today.
But we do have a question, I believe. The question for Midland is economic diversification, bringing in other industries to support the local economy during the bust. Energy is in transition. How will Midland make itself viable energy hub beyond oil and gas? Oh, so it's kind of like how's Abu Dhabi going to be not just oil and gas? How are they going to diversify? How's Midland going to diversify?
I know that our mayor, Patrick Payton, right when he took office, I guess it was a couple of years ago, he wanted Midland to be one of the top 100 cities to live and work in. And so I know that he is working hard with the Midland Development Corporation here on what is other industry that we can bring. If Bezos can launch his rocket, just a little bit further west of us, we have an international airport and actually a spaceport. If you've seen it, when you fly out here, go check it out. We do have a spaceport. So it's like, if we're going to start sending people to the moon and space, why couldn't we do it right here out of Midland?
That's a great point.
I mean, that's kind of a wild idea.
That's crazy, though. But you got to think like that. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not throw something like that on the table?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Las Vegas is popular. It's in the desert, right? I mean, obviously, I don't think that we would ever be Vegas, but a lot of good things happen in the desert other than just drilling oil wells.
If you have imagination, anything can happen in the desert.
Absolutely, I like it.
So, anyway, everyone, I want to thank everyone. Great questions, and I want to thank everyone for coming on the show. And again, great catching up with you, brother.
JP, thanks for having me.
I love it, man.
Thank
I love
you.
it. I'm looking forward to obviously seeing you more and more throughout the next couple months. Everyone, thank you. Have a safe week. Have those conversations with people and just kind of engage with them and just kind of just have and stay calm. Stay calm. Don't be a sorehead.
Don't be a silly sorehead.
Don't be a silly sorehead. And everyone have a great rest of the week. Stay warm because I think it's getting a little bit colder. And we'll see y'all soon. This is like the awkward part where I gotta